Sanjay, some interesting comments from Commander Conley, who before this episode had an impeccable reputation. He was asked why he didn't give all the information yesterday, and he said he was trying to, I'm quoting him now, he was trying to reflect the upbeat attitude of the team and not give any information that would steer the course of his illness. Is that what a physician is supposed to do?
No. I mean, you got to be honest. You got to be transparent, and all these details matter. I mean, he's coming out to brief the public about the president. That's the briefing that's happening. If you're going to do that, then you have to be absolutely honest. And it wasn't just sort of conveying an upbeat attitude. It was purposely misleading yesterday about a very basic issue, which is whether or not the president had been on supplemental oxygen as one of those issues. That's important, Jake, because when you look at patients, the way that doctors approach this is we're looking at a patient, we know his age, we know his pre-existing risk factors. You can immediately start to assess his risk. As more data comes in, that risk sort of stratification changes. If he required oxygen, that definitely indicates that there was some impact, significant impact on his lungs, and that puts him on a different trajectory, may mean different sorts of treatments. It's really, really important. How high was that fever? Still didn't answer.
Right.
And he's still dancing around questions today. Better today, but still dancing around really important questions. When asked, was there a second episode of the president needing supplemental oxygen, he sort of said, well, I don't know. We'd have to check with the nursing staff. He knows. He has to know. It's critical information. I don't know why he would pretend like, oh, yeah, we'll check into that. What do the lung scans show? Does the president have pneumonia or not? They say there were findings, but, we're tracking it. Well, what were the findings?
Yeah, that's incredible.
Better,
just to underline
just
to underline this point, Sanjay, because obviously this is, in addition to being a life-threatening illness, it is a health-threatening illness. Millions of people have survived COVID-19, but even if they were young and healthy, they are no longer healthy because it leaves scars, it damages lungs. And as you note, Commander Conley was asked about what these scans showed of the president's lungs, and he referred to that there were findings in addition, but he wouldn't go into what they were, just that there was no immediate concern. And then in addition, somebody asked whether the president was in a negative pressure room. You'll explain to us what that means. And he said, I'm not going to get into the specifics of his care. Excuse me? You're not going to get into the specifics of his care?
Right. Yeah, no, I heard the same thing. A negative pressure room would be a room that you put somebody in with a contagious illness because it basically, instead of allowing the virus that's certainly coming out of his mouth and nose to become aerosolized and stay in the room, it essentially will pull some of that out of the room and make it safer for anybody who goes in there who will undoubtedly need to be in personal protective equipment. But I think this was in response to a question about, okay, he had this video yesterday, right? He was inside. Somebody was obviously filming the video. Shouldn't the president have been wearing a mask? It was in response to that question. And you heard the answer. So it's still very opaque. I will point out again, 2 episodes of requiring supplemental oxygen, they say. A fever that was concerning on Friday. Again, these are all really important things for the overall trying to figure out the risk for the president going forward and what might be the best treatment options. I also, Jake, he's on steroids now. Dexamethasone, that's what that medication is. And that's typically given to people who, you're concerned about their lung function. It's basically a very potent anti-inflammatory. You're worried that the president has developed significant inflammation, and that's why you would give that. So these are all important findings. They're concerning, to be candid, Jake. I think, as always with these types of things, especially these types of briefings from the president's doctors, we have to sort of read between the lines here. They were telegraphing us on Friday, well before he went to the hospital, that it was getting serious. Even though they were saying everything's fine, reading between the lines, I was pretty certain he was going to end up in the hospital by Friday evening. They are telegraphing concerns again here, and the next few days are going to be critical for him. He's in the right place. He's got great doctors. But this is a significant sort of issue that they're dealing with, and they have to make sure that they're on top of it.